Hello everyone, welcome back to Yield Today of Dallin, Candland. Today we're going to talk about 5 ways to make your time work for you. Really hope that this episode is helpful. This is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. As always, if the podcast is helpful for you, definitely let me know. I love hearing how it's helping you out in different ways. Shout out to Jackson Stewart over in selling some pest control, reaching out to me about how he's been enjoying the podcast. Love you, bro. And I think with that all said, we can jump into the episode. We're going to be going over 5 different tips that I have, and I hope that they are all helpful for you. And I'll be sharing experiences and things that have solidified these insights for me. Number 1 is that you can use the same time to accomplish multiple things. This is not multitasking. There are some things that you do, and you need to have like a timer before the thing happens. So a good example, last night I made some chicken. I made some potatoes with my roommate. And there was time where the clock was ticking and we needed to wait like 40 minutes before we could eat the food. We weren't just going to sit there and watch the food cook. I was going to do homework. I was going to reach out to people. I was going to do other things. And you can apply that to a lot of different things. If you're uploading a video on YouTube, if you're... And you need to be careful with this because you don't want to watch your favorite TV show and be on email. That's kind of pointless in my opinion. But, just use kind of some care to it. And another quick thought on this, I try to get some things done at night. So things that need to get done in the morning, I'll start them at night. So sort of start preparing for them at night. Last night I did a little bit of a homework assignment, so I won't have to start it today to get it done by midnight. I already accomplished that. So using the same time to accomplish multiple things I think is really good because time is so valuable. So if you have a video uploading or something, it's good to have that running in the background while you go do shopping or something like that. I think this is a pretty actionable tip if you think about it and try to think of different ways you use your time. Listening to audiobooks in the car can be good. Sometimes I'll listen to podcasts when I play video games. I'll just turn the sound off, and that's hitting a double whammy. Or I could listen to a book for a class. So I'm able to make a little bit of headway while doing something I enjoy. Obviously, you need to use some tact with this, but I think it's a pretty solid tip nevertheless. Number 2 is creating an asset. And when I say that, I mean a blog post or a video, something that is going to continue to grow in value over time, or at least provide a certain amount of value for people. So a good example for me is on my Tanuki Toad Team YouTube channel that's finishing up pretty soon. My first gaming YouTube channel I made with my friends back in 2012. The single tier, just amazing how that's helped me grow so much is doing that, what it led to. But we have some videos that still get 300 views a month. It's because of the search, it's because of the algorithm, it's because people are still searching for those videos, still searching for that kind of content. And even though we don't make any money from all those views, it's still pretty cool to think they're entertaining people from things me and my friends were doing. I was 16, 17 back then. And people are still being entertained by that 16, 17-year-old version of me. And although that version of me was different and everything, and I wish they would watch some of the more recent stuff or definitely check out the podcast, I am still glad that I can make a difference through something that was made a while ago. And another quick thought on this that I have thought a lot about and been wanting to share on the podcast is the fact that in college, when you create a project or you do a homework assignment, generally that thing has one utility, and that is to get a grade, to impress your professor. And the fact is you're also learning along the way, which is great. But the thing is you generally don't reuse that assignment. Usually that's frowned upon. And not only you're not able to use it for a class, you also can't use it for your own gain. You can't use it to help people. You can't use it on a blog post. You can't put a video. It's not like those things. You write a paper and then it's done. You put that 2 hours in that paper and then that's it. Whereas with creating an asset, writing a book, making a blog post, those things can continue to pay you I guess, with impressions and attention and whatnot over time, and it doesn't really go away. So that's something I would definitely invite you, even especially if like you're really young. Like for me, it's really cool to look back and be like, hey, there's like 500 YouTube videos and the work's done. I don't have to re-record those videos that are there. And as long as YouTube exists, those videos exist and somebody could find them and be entertained or inspired by them. So that's the other thing. And I'm trying to like prioritize creating assets over creating content that's like good, but it's more content to drive attention to the asset. So quick example of this is I was going to make an Instagram post today, which I've made so many Instagram posts in a row. So I took that nice month-long break. My personal Instagram is at Dream Chaser Dallin. I post a lot of things kind of similar on the same vein, get a little more personal. But I was like, wait a second, I haven't made a podcast episode yet, and I need to record at least a couple. And that is going to pay off over time. People are going to re-listen to some of these episodes because they were beneficial for them. A lot of my social media posts will get consumed once, and that's pretty much it. So prioritizing those things that are going to be long-term value. Kind of another term you can look up to search this further is evergreen content. Content that doesn't really lose its value and continues to be useful and helpful for your intended audience. The third thing is to do one nice thing for somebody every day, and just being known as somebody that is authentic and cares, and you just try to be yourself with people. That's something I've really tried to do in college. We only have a couple semesters left, which is insane. But I got to tell you, I remember this one triple date I went on, and this one girl was like, wait a second, you're Dallin. I was like, yeah. She's like, one of my roommates knows about you. She's like, oh yeah, I know him. He's pretty cool. And that really helps, is like having that. It's really valuable to be known as that guy, I guess, that's nice or that's kind, that can help people out in some way. You just get known as somebody that makes people's day. That's something I've generally become known as on campus, and that's really special to me. I think it was at the end of my second semester. There was like a church thing, and I was leaving, and some guy's like, are you the gum guy? And last semester I'd given out a ton of pieces of gum. That second semester hadn't given away as many, but some guy that I'd never met knew me as the gum guy, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So if you want to become a better version of yourself, having something that you practice, something that you do, you're practicing whatever. You're preparing for how you're going to be perceived in the future. One of my good friends, Tim, who I reference on the podcast a lot, he talks about how he doesn't really care about what people have done in the past. He cares about what they're doing now. And so when people spend time with you, they expect different things, and you can help them out. You can be that kind of person. And I've done this to an extreme before and try to help every single person I come in contact with. And it gets way too exhausting. But this semester, we're kind of dialing it back. So far, it's been really good. Just do one little nice thing a day. And it definitely adds up. Just wave, say hi to people, and you never would know what it could lead to. All my jobs I've worked in college, 2 of the jobs I've worked at in college, I got because I was talking to people and meeting people. So that is good. And you don't do it for that reason, but it's wonderful to just be able to listen and help people out. So I hope you will do that. Yield today. Number 4 is to plan. And I think planning is really good. There's a quote that says when you plan for 5 minutes, you save like an hour of time. And I think that's really true to some extent, because you have this like pattern and this kind of map for what you're going to get done that day. And that's super good. I'm still trying to improve this. This is still something in my life I'm working on getting better at. But just getting into this habit of knowing like what's going to be most important that day will really help you make the most of your time. Last semester, I got a little scatterbrained at times, and there were some things that weren't super built into my schedule, and so there's a lot of fluff time that just got erased, and it was like it didn't exist because I didn't set it apart for something else, and so it was just gone, which is pretty sad, but I'm learning and getting better at it. But if you plan ahead, use Google Calendar or something to plan things out. I think you'll definitely be a lot happier and just know that, okay, this thing's coming up. It gives you something to look forward to. And that's one of my like big hacks, or not really a hack, but just good self-care practice, is set up things in the future that you can look forward to that help you. So when you're having a really rough day, you can be like, hey, well, at least I'm still going to the pool with Jimbo today or later today. If I can just hold on, if I can just keep going. Or lately for me, I've been playing a little bit of video games every night just to kind of cool down if I've done all my homework, and something just kind of to look forward to at the end of the day. Just kind of chill, maybe listen to a podcast, maybe not, but just kind of chill and have a good time doing that. It doesn't have to be very long either. It can be like 20, 30 minutes, and it can be super, super helpful. Number 5, kind of going along with that, is a routine. Having a routine is super huge. I've been trying to get my morning routine a lot better, and it's gotten pretty solid. I will wake up, I'll brush my teeth, listen to my sell myself to myself commercial, juggle, look at some scriptures, meditate a little bit. And having that is super useful because I know, like, this is when I'm supposed to get out of the shower. And I was thinking about it today after class. Like, I don't need to take a shower. I already took a shower. I don't need to exercise. Oh, it's good. But I already exercised today. So you already have those things taken care of, and it positions you to get some really good stuff done later in that day. And especially if you're able to be consistent at it, it kind of goes back to the one nice thing every day. It just adds up to who you are as a person. It's reaffirming, it's helpful. And you think of like all the best salespeople, all the best athletes, they all have some kind of routine that they follow to be at their peak performance. And that's something I really, really advocate for. I mean, when I was doing track, we'd always have a long set of warm-up drills that we do before a meet. So we are warmed up and in peak shape. The same thing goes with life. You don't want to jump into life cold. You want to be warmed up. You want to be ready to go. And that goes with every day that you're alive. It helps a lot if you can prepare. And it's something I'm trying to get better at is, have something accomplished before the day begins, really, before my class starts. So I'm not just getting out of bed and jumping into a Zoom call. That just sounds super, just not motivating. But if I can get something done in the morning, that's always a win. And it adds up over time. If you read like one page of a book every day, or for me, like with my video games, I try to read a chapter from the New Testament, both before and after I start. And so I'm already on chapter 4 of Matthew from doing that. So, you can hack, you can do little stuff like that, but kind of creating this habit stack that James Clear talks about, of like having one habit, like after I do this, I will do that, is super useful. So I hope that these tips were helpful for you, gave you some perspective. That's always the hope as you're trying to build a business, as you're trying to manage your time. I hope these tips were helpful for you. Again, use the same time to like bulk prep, get multiple things done without multitasking. Because multitasking, like our brain can multitask, but it can't multi-focus. And so you have to kind of play around with that. And the different things work for different people. Some people love working with music. Some people don't like working with music. It just depends on the music, depends on the person. And that's why, just like with most self-development stuff, you really just have to try it out yourself for you to figure out, is this going to work for me? Number 2, create an asset that will go up in value, or at least continue to provide value. So, and just invest in the compound effect, how it'll add up over time, especially like year over year. It just adds up over time, and you never know with how SEO is set up. Something could blow up later and it could help you out a lot. You just never know. Number 3, do a nice thing for somebody every day. It could be even for yourself, but just keep that going and that will add up. Just plan out your day and make sure that you have those things kind of figured out and planned out, just in case, like if something comes up, you already have a plan, a backup plan. That's something I'm still trying to get better at, but we're going to keep working on it. And number 5 is a routine. Have some kind of routine you follow to make the most of your time. So when you're on the track of life, when you're in the, I don't know, wherever you are, whenever you're at that place, you're able to perform, you're able to be there. And it really stinks like when you're not able to really be there, you're just kind of there physically, but not really mentally and stuff. And preparing and getting all that stuff done beforehand really helps you show up and be there for those moments you're needed the most. So, with that all said, I hope that this episode is helpful for you. Definitely follow the podcast and let me know if it was. And thank you so much for listening. Definitely, we'll have another interview coming up this upcoming Monday. Those are still looking pretty good. So, lots of good times on the way. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. Don't forget to yield today, and it will be a better tomorrow. That was kind of long. I don't know. It's kind of long, but I think it was decent. I don't know. Let's see.